Hello everyone, and welcome back to History of the Ancient World. Today, we're embarking on an epic journey back in time to explore one of the world's oldest and most enduring civilizations, ancient China. From legendary emperors to groundbreaking inventions that changed the world, China's ancient history is a vast and fascinating tapestry. So, grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's travel through the dynasties that shaped a nation. Our story begins not with written records, but in the mists of legend along the fertile banks of the Yellow River, often called the cradle of Chinese civilization. Here, tales are told of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, wise and mythical rulers who are said to have taught the ancient people how to build houses, cultivate crops, and even invent riding. The most famous of these is the Yellow Emperor, Huang Di, revered as the ancestor of all Han Chinese people. While these figures are more myth than historical fact, they represent the cultural cornerstones upon which Chinese identity was built. The first dynasty to emerge from these legends, with archaeological evidence to back it up, was the Shang dynasty, around 1600 BCE. This was a Bronze Age society that left behind incredible artifacts. Imagine skilled artisans casting intricate bronze vessels for rituals covered in mysterious animal-like motifs. The Shang kings were not just rulers, they were also high priests who communicated with their ancestors and deities through a fascinating practice, oracle bones. They would carve questions onto turtle shells or ox bones, heat them until they cracked, and then interpret the patterns to predict the future, from the outcome of a battle to the success of the harvest. These inscriptions are the earliest form of Chinese writing we have, the direct ancestors of the characters used today. Around 1046 BCE, the Shang were overthrown by the Zhou dynasty. The Zhou introduced a crucial political and philosophical concept that would influence Chinese history for millennia: the Mandate of Heaven. This wasn't just a get-out-of-jail-free card for a coup. The Mandate of Heaven was the idea that a just and benevolent ruler had the divine right to govern, but this right was not permanent. If a ruler became corrupt or incompetent, and natural disasters or social unrest followed, it was seen as a sign that they had lost the mandate. This gave the people, in theory, the right to rebel and for a new, more worthy dynasty to take over. This cyclical pattern of dynasties rising and falling would become a defining feature of Chinese history. The Zhou dynasty was the longest in China's history, but it wasn't always stable. Its later period, known as the Eastern Zhou, fractured into a chaotic era called the Spring and Autumn period, and then the even more intense Warring States period. It was a time of constant conflict as different states vied for power. Yet, out of this chaos came incredible intellectual growth. This era is often called the 100 Schools of Thought, a golden age of Chinese philosophy. It gave rise to thinkers whose ideas would shape East Asian society forever. There was Confucius, who emphasized morality, social harmony, family loyalty, and the importance of good governance through virtuous leaders. His teachings, Confucianism, would become the bedrock of the Chinese state bureaucracy and social etiquette. Then there was Laozi, the mysterious figure credited with founding Taoism. Taoism advocated for living in harmony with the Tao, the natural way of the universe, promoting simplicity, spontaneity, and a go-with-the-flow attitude that provided a spiritual counterpoint to Confucianism's rigid social structures. And we can't forget legalism, a philosophy that argued for strict laws and harsh punishments to maintain order. Its proponents believed that people were inherently selfish and only a strong authoritarian state could control them. This clash of ideas set the stage for one of the most dramatic unifications in history. The state of Qin, embracing the ruthless efficiency of legalism, conquered all its rivals. In 221 BCE, its leader, Ying Zheng, declared himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China. His reign was short but incredibly impactful. He standardized everything: writing systems, currency, weights, and even the axle widths of carts to create a unified road network. He ordered the construction of a massive network of roads and, most famously, began the project of linking existing walls to form the first version of what we now know as the Great Wall of China, not to keep out invaders as much as to define the borders of his new empire. But his rule was tyrannical. He suppressed all opposing philosophies, famously ordering the burning of books and the burying of scholars. His obsession with immortality led him to create his famous terracotta army, a life-size legion of thousands of clay soldiers, horses, and chariots built to protect him in the afterlife. His harsh rule and heavy taxes caused immense suffering, and shortly after his death, his dynasty collapsed. From the ashes of the Qin rose the Han Dynasty, which would rule for over 400 years and is considered a golden age in Chinese history. The Han Dynasty tempered Qin's legalism with Confucian principles, creating a stable and efficient state. They established a civil service examination system where officials were chosen based on merit and knowledge of the Confucian classics, a revolutionary idea for its time. This period saw tremendous innovation. Papermaking was invented, a technology that would revolutionize the spread of knowledge across the globe. They developed the seismoscope to detect earthquakes, improved iron casting techniques, and charted the stars with remarkable accuracy. The Han also opened up the legendary Silk Road, a network of trade routes connecting China to Central Asia, India, and even the Roman Empire. Silk, spices, and ideas flowed in both directions, creating a vibrant cultural exchange that enriched all civilizations involved. So profound was the Han's legacy that the majority ethnic group in China still refers to themselves as the Han people today. After the Han Dynasty fell, China experienced another period of disunity, but the foundation had been laid. The cycles of unification and fragmentation would continue, but the core elements of Chinese civilization, the writing system, the philosophical traditions of Confucianism and Taoism, and the concept of a unified state under the mandate of heaven would endure. The legacy of ancient China is not just in its monumental structures like the Great Wall or the beautiful artifacts in museums. It's in the ideas, the inventions, and the resilient cultural identity that has been passed down through thousands of years, continuing to shape the world we live in. The story, of course, doesn't end here, but continues through more glorious dynasties like the Tang and Song. But those are tales for another day. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through ancient China. I hope you found it as fascinating as I do. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to History of the Ancient World and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the past. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.